Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss question answer of your chapter 4 from Vistas, the enemy. I will discuss internal questions also, the questions which are available inside the chapter, and I will discuss the question which is after the chapter available. So both type of questions will be discussed by me. Listen it carefully, and thereafter you will prepare your notes of this chapter and you will send it to me. It will be your homework also to complete your notes, and you will send it to me on tomorrow. First question is that who was Dr. Sadao? Where was his house? So as you know that Dr. Sadao was a Japanese doctor as well as a scientist in the case because he was working on a medicine. He was working to discover on a medicine which could render the wound marks. So he was a doctor and he was a scientist of Japan, and his house was situated, I know that at a coastal area of Japan, which was situated on a low hill which was made of a square shaped stone. So it was the first question from the internal part. Thereafter on page number 27 there is a second question which is internal as well. Will Dr. Sadao be arrested on the charge of harboring an enemy? The question, first of all you have to understand the question properly, that will Dr. Sadao be arrested on the charge of harboring an enemy, harboring, sheltering, giving shelter to an enemy in his house. Will he be arrested for that? Actually it was this is the incident which has been discussed in this chapter took place during Second World War, which happened from 1939 to 1945, and you know that Japan and America were big rivals in that World War, and as a result of that, you know that Japanese soldiers attacked on Pearl Harbor of America, and American soldiers attacked with 2 atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So there was a deadly enmity between these two countries. In that context, in that scenario, when war was going on, you know that when war is going on, the nationalistic fervor becomes on high. In that condition, he found an American at his doorstep. That he came he was brought by the sea waves. While he he went towards that man along with his wife Hannah. He thought that he must be in first attempt. He thought that that the man must be a fisherman, but when he went that close to that man and he turned his face, he observed that it was a white man. White man means he was an American actually. So he was quite surprised that what should he do, because he was a doctor and he was being taught that as a doctor he should always treat his patient, but this patient was his enemy. But anyhow, after making so many doubts and conclusions, first he thought that he must be put in the water. Thereafter they thought that they should hand him over to the police. Means whatever the ideas came into his mind, he actually finally agreed his wife Hannah that they should bring him to his home and to their home, and they should treat him. And after treatment, they thought that they will hand him over to the police or authority. But if this matter would have been informed, suppose that he was treating this enemy at his home, and someone would go and inform to the police authorities, then Dr. Sadao must have been arrested. But he will be arrested if it is being reported that he is harboring an enemy in his home. But because it was not reported by anyone, so he was not arrested actually. But question is that if he will be arrested, yes, definitely will be arrested if it will be reported. Next internal question, students: will Hannah help the wounded man and wash him herself? First of all, you know that after bringing that man into their home, Dr. Sadao asked to wash that man because he was he was very dirty. A lot of dust, a lot of sand were sticking to his body because he fell near the seashore. So Hannah first of all went to Yumi and asked her to fetch a towel and hot water, actually lukewarm water, to wash that man. to watch that man, but while Yumi saw that that man was a white man, so she refused, strictly refused, that I will not watch that man. Okay, so was that man, while she refused, Hannah was forced to do so because she was a loyal wife, and she couldn't leave her husband in alone. That's why she helped him, and she watched that man. So she will watch because because Yumi refused to do so. Thereafter, I'm moving towards the next question, okay, which is on page number 35, also internal question. What will Dr. Sadao and his wife do with the man? Actually, Dr. Sadao and Hannah, his wife, both thought a lot while they found that man at the seashore. They had a lot of doubts in their mind because he was an enemy, an American, that what they should do, what is the best solution of this problem. What problem? That they found an enemy at their doorstep. First, they thought that they should put him into again into the water. Thereafter, they thought that they should take him at their home and treat him. Thereafter, they thought that they should hand him over to the police. So many thoughts came into their mind. But while you know that as Dr. Sadao and Hannah both were very gentle-hearted, very nice-hearted person, very good-hearted person, that's why they couldn't do so actually. And they brought that man into their house, and they treat that man. But they had a strong determination that after treating this man, they will hand him over to the police, to the authorities. It was their plan. Thereafter, I'm moving towards the next question, which is on page number 39 actually. It is still internal question. Will Dr. Sadao be arrested on the charge of harboring? So this question is already been, so there is no need of to discuss this question again. If it will be arrested, he will be. If it will be reported to the police authorities, he will be arrested. Otherwise, he will not be arrested. Then thereafter, I'm going to discuss the next question, which is on page number 43 from the same internal part. What will Dr. Sadao do to get rid of the man? Actually, you know that while Dr. Sadao was called by the messenger to the general's house, Hannah was very much till this time the servants had left their home, and Hannah was much worried that why the messengers had came in uniform, but she was her stress was less while she forgot that the messengers had come to call Dr. Sadao to treat that army general. Army general was old, but he served Japan for a long time, and that's why the government had employed the best Japanese surgeon for his health care, and that's why the messenger came to call him today, Dr. Sadao. Dr. Sadao went there, and while he saw that Hannah was so much worried about that white man, he told everything to General. General promised him that he will send his private assassins to kill that man. Dr. Sadao waited for 3 nights. He waited first night, no assassins came. He waited second night, no assassins came. He waited third night also, but no assassins still arrived. Then Dr. Sadao thought on the 4th night that now enough is enough, and he will get rid of that man. And then he made a plan that he will provide that man those kind of things which will help him to escape from Japan. He told that American that it is not hidden from the authorities that you are here, means it is being informed, and your staying here is not safe for you as well as for me. So he told that I will give you a small canoe, a small boat actually. I will give you a few clothings. I will give you some food, and you have to go there to the island. He indicated towards in the sea that there is an island. You have to go there and wait for the Korean ship arriving, and if any Korean ship arrives, you should take shelter in that and should leave Japan. So Dr. Sadao finally planned to escape that man, to help escaping that man from Japan, to get rid of him, and that he did also successfully. Thereafter, I am going to discuss the questions. Reading with insight means the questions which you find after the chapter. The first question: there are moments in life when we have to make hard choices between our roles as private individuals and as citizens with a sense of national loyalty. Discuss with reference to the story you have just read. Means you have to discuss this statement in the context of this story, The Enemy. So there are moments in our life. Sometimes we face very tough moments in our life when we have to choose our duty as a nationality and as a duty of our private individuals. So you could find that Dr. Sadawaj also got stuck in this kind of situation. While he found that injured American, and Americans were enemy of Japanese at that time. So while he found that American, then he and his wife both were quite confused that what they should do. As I discussed previously in the inside questions also, that he thought first that it is better to put that man back into the sea. Thereafter, they thought that they should inform about this man to the police authorities, but they thought that he is an injured person and he will be killed if they will give that man to the authorities, either army authority or police authority. Thereafter, they thought that it is best that this man should be treated on the ground of humanity, and thereafter he will be handed over to the authorities. So that they did actually. So sometimes it is very difficult to decide that our private individuals means individually we have some duties. As Dr. Sadao is here a doctor, and it is a individual duty of a doctor that he should save lives, not kill person. But the person was an enemy. It was a very tough situation for him, contrary situation for him. It was a very dilemma kind of situation for him, that finally he decided that he will give the humanity, that was his individual responsibility, that he will give priority to his doctor's role first, and thereafter he will play his role of a citizen towards national loyalty. Sometimes it becomes difficult, but we should take decision on the ground of humanity in such type of tough situations. Question number 2, students. Dr. Sada was compelled by his duty as a doctor to help the enemy soldier. Okay, are you understanding this question, this part? Dr. Sada was forced by his duty. It was his duty as a doctor that he should save a patient. Though the patient is an enemy, but still a doctor must have to save that man. So Dr. Sadao saved that man, that we can understand. What made Hannah, his wife, sympathetic to him in the face of open defiance from the domestic staff? Understand the question properly. Dr. Sadao, we can understand that why Dr. Sadao helped that man and he saved that man, because he was a doctor. It was his duty. It was taught him that you have a doctor and you have to save a patient. You cannot allow a patient die in front of your eyes. So that he did. In that case, he did. We understand. But why Hannah helped that man also, that American also, even in spite of that, the open defiance means clear protest. Defiance means protest from the domestic staff, means from the servants. All the 3 servants, Yumi, cook and gardener, all 3 servants totally protested, straightforward protested. Their protest was not hidden. Their protest was in front of the face of Hannah and Dr. Sadao, actually towards on the face of Hannah. Means they protested the shelter of that enemy, of that American in the house, but instead of these all the things. Why Hannah supported Dr. Sadao? Why she took care of that man? Actually, Hannah did only this because, what about Dr. Sadao, did you know? Hannah only did this because she was a loyal wife. Okay, she suppose that Dr. Sadao was not supported by any of the domestic staff. None of the servants were supporting him. Okay, and if even now none of the 3 servants were supporting him, and if she would have also started an unsupportive behavior towards her husband, then Dr. Sadao would have found himself completely alone. For that reason, that her husband should not feel alone, she should thought that it is better for her to support her husband, and she was a loyal wife. That's why she supported him, only because she was loyal, and she didn't want Dr. Sadao to feel alone in his own home, because servants were already protesting these Americans stay in the house. So understood I think students, you understood the question. Question number 3. How would you explain the reluctance of the soldier to leave the shelter of the doctor's home even when he knew he couldn't stay there without risk to the doctor and himself? First of all, understand the question properly. While Dr. Sadao told to that American on the 4th day, as you know that the Army General suggested that I will send assassins to kill that man, Dr. Sadao waited for 3 days also. But Dr. Sadao decided on the 4th day that I have to get rid of this man anyhow, and today, not I'm going to delaying this matter any further. And then he asked that American that you have to leave this house, and today you have to get prepared. And he also told that why I'm asking it to leave, because it is not hidden that you are here from the authorities. Authorities know that you are here at my home. And he also would have told that the assassins were about to be sent by the army general, so he would have been told everything. But even after knowing these facts, what was the reason that the soldier, that American soldier, was showing reluctance? Means he was not willing to leave the house of Dr. Sadao. He was not ready to leave the house, because as Dr. Sadao told him that you have to leave the house, he told, should I really, doctor? So it shows that he was doubtful. He was interested to stay there. Why he was doing so? Why the soldier was doing so? Why he was willing to stay there? Even he was knowing that his staying at Dr. Sadao's home was not better for himself also, and for Dr. Sadao as well. So why he was endangering the life of both Dr. Sadao as his own? Now, students, there is only one reason, because Dr. Sadao and Hana both were very gentle person. Okay, and sometimes it happens that if we are gentle, if we are over gentle, I mean to say, if we are over gentle, and others, then others try to take benefit of our gentle behavior, of our humble behavior. They try to take benefit of that. They try to cheat us. They try to deceive us, because we are so loyal that we can't even speak hard to others. We speak in lovely tone, in good manner. So that's why this American got a lot of hospitality here at the Dr. Sadao's home. Rather than that, if he would have been stayed anywhere, in any other part of Japan, perhaps he would not have received that. But he received that kind of warm welcome that he was expecting. He was feeling safe there. Okay, that's why he was unwilling. Actually, you can say in one word that he was selfish. This American was selfish, and that's why he was not ready to leave that place. Though he left that, but he was unwilling. He was not full-heartedly. He didn't full-heartedly agree that yes, sir, I will leave the home. He asked, because his question asking, do I really, sir? This doubt, this question confirms that he was not unwilling. He was reluctant to leave the house of Dr. Sadao. So it is only his selfish behavior. And students, I would like to ask you all that if we are being helped by someone and the person is gentle, we should not take the benefit. We should not try to take benefit of that person, the gentleness of that person. We should also understand our responsibility. If the person is helpful towards us, what is our responsibility? Our responsibility that if we are not getting any kind of discomfort from on the behalf of that person, we should not also create any kind of discomfort zone for that person also. We should take care of that person as well. Okay, now question number 4. What explains the attitude of the general in the matter of the enemy soldier? Was it human consideration? Lack of national loyalty, dereliction of duty, or simply self-absorption? Students, understand this question first. What explains the attitude of general in the matter of the enemy soldier? Attitude of general. While Dr. Sadao informed Army General that I have unfortunately got a man who was from America. So General promised him, you know well, General promised him that I will send my private assassins to kill that man. Okay, but he did not send their private assassins for 3 days, and in the later part of the chapter you found that he didn't send a private assassins at any level. He didn't send any time. What do you think? That why General did not? The question is that why General did not send the private assassins? Why? What was the reason behind this? Was it human consideration? Was the General thinking that on the ground of humanity, that no, he is also a human being, that American soldier is also a human being, and being a human we should not kill other? Was it that humanity? You can say the kind thought, a merciful idea, lack of nationality, or you can say that the General was not responsible towards his nation. He was not a patriotic person. Do you think that this is the reason? Dereliction of duty. Do you think that he was careless in his duty? Because of that he did not send the assassins. And the fourth reason, or a simple reason, is that because he was self-absorption, means he was only caring about himself. He was not caring about his nation, means he was giving his priority to himself first, to his life and his health first, and that's why he did not send the assassins. What is the main reason among these 4 causes? Actually, students, I think you would have got the answer of this question. If you discuss that was it a human consideration? No. General was not a human. There could not be any kind of merciful consideration or human that he will think that he was a human being and that's why I should not send an assassin and why I have to kill a person. No, no, no. He was not a human. That was not a human consideration. Otherwise, he would not have proposed that I will send my assassins to kill that man, and even that I will remove that body, the person from there. So it was not a merciful decision on the. And you know that army soldiers are kind-hearted. I'm not saying that, but in the context of enemy they are never kind-hearted actually. Second, that it was lack of nationality. No, this general has served Japan for a long time, and that's why, to respect that service, the Japanese government has appointed the best German doctor for him to take care, in the form of Dr. Sadao. So there was no lackness in his loyalty towards nation. Relation of duty, he was careless in his duty? No, he was not careless in his duty also, because while he was a general, he did a lot for his country, Japan. So he was not careless in his duty as well. Fourth one, it was a self-absorption, because he was, you can say in other words that he was a bit selfish. Yes, it was so. He also accepted. While Dr. Sadao operated him, after 1 week he came back into the senses. Dr. Sadao told him that, sir, that American escaped from it. Dr. Sadao did not say that I helped that American to escape from my home. He told that, sir, that American escaped from my home. He was surprised. He said that, did I promise you to send the assassins? He said, yes, sir, you promised, but then he told that, then general thought that it is my fault that I didn't send the assassins, and then he escaped. Okay, and that's why the general escaped. That's why the American soldier escaped. So he said that, you know that I am not. There is no dereliction of duty. You know that how much I love my country. You know that, but he accepted there. But you know that I take care about my. I was thinking about my health a lot, and that's why I forgot about that. So there was a simply self-absorption. He was taking care about his health and about his life, giving priority on anything else, and that's why he forgot. So it was only a self-absorption, the reason because of that he did not send the assistance. Now question number 5, students. What hatred against a member of the enemy race is justifiable? Justifiable, especially during wartime. What hatred? Okay, sorry, while hatred against a member of enemy means, very simple is that while war is going on, okay, there is a simple, you can find a kind of hatred among the people of that country, okay, among the people of that country towards that enemy, simply, okay, which is justifiable also. It is not wrong as well. Okay, it is good, especially during wartime. Especially we are showing, we show our hatred towards our enemy all the time, but especially if the war is going on, I think that hatred increases actually. Then in that situation, what makes a human being, okay, rise above narrow prejudices? These are, but actually, if we are hating someone, it is a kind of example of narrow mindedness, and it's a kind of prejudice, it's a kind of jealousy, and because of that we have kind of hatred. Means we forget that that person is also a human being. So while in war, during wartime, the nationalistic fervor becomes on high level, and we have a very hateful thought for our enemies. What makes one, means any person, to think about his enemy also in a kind way, as Dr. Sadao did? Actually, it only happens when you consider that humanity is greater than anything else, as Dr. Sadao did. That your duty and humanity, the first of all, we are a human being. If you'll think on the basis of humanity, you'll consider even your enemy as your friend. Okay, because think a reason why that person is an enemy. If that country should have been your friend country, the natives of that country should have been your friends. If that country is your enemy, you treat that country members or country citizens as your enemy. Is it justifiable? Is it good that if there is some ideological differences between a government and higher authorities, okay, we start seeing other person, even the common citizens of that nation, with the same eyesight, with the same eye view? That's wrong actually. Okay, but it's a simple thought actually. The patriotic, we think that we are patriotic and we should hate the person. But if we will come above these narrow prejudices, this narrow hatred and narrow thoughts, there will be a broad-mindedness, the form of humanity. I start respecting that man also, that Dr. Sadao did. So that only a kind of human thought, humanity, helps us to rise above such type of narrow prejudices. Question number 6. Do you think the doctor's final solution to the problem was the best possible one of the circumstances? Yes, students. The doctor's final solution, in which he helped that American to escape from Japan, and he provided that man even a boat, clothes, he provided him food, everything which the things were needed to escape him from Japan. According to me, actually, you should also think there may be a different answer. You have to think about that. As I think, but according to me, it was the best solution. Because if you're having a mercy thought, again coming to the humanity, loyalty, if you are having a mercy thought, your nature is kind, you not allow anyone to die in front of you, and even a person in the if a person you have saved, Dr. Sada has saved that man, he would not allow to die that man. He waited for 3 days to add the assassins, but on the fourth day he helped him to escape from his house, because his domestic staff, his servants were also protesting him, and that's why they left his house. There was a doubt that they should inform to the higher authorities. He'll be charged as a traitor. So he wanted to get rid of that man, and this was the best possible solution which was available at that moment. Now, question number 7. Does the story remind you of Birth by A.J. Cronin that you read in Snapshot last year? What are the similarities? Means, does this story reminds you something about the story which you read in the last chapter, students? If you remember well, Snapshots, A.J. Cronin written a story, authored a story, Birth. In that story, I would like to summarize that story in few words. In that story, Dr. Andrew Benson, if you remember well, students, I think you. So, in that story, Dr. Andrew Benson was a newly qualified doctor in Brainley, that is Wales. There was practicing, and he got a case of Joe Morgan, okay, a driller, a workman working in the drilling factories, drilling mines. So Joe Morgan was getting a child after 20 years after marriage. Dr. Andrew Manson was called by him. He went for the delivery, but the delivery was very complicated. Finally, the delivery took place, but he found that the child was stillborn, means the child was dead. There was no sense, there was no movement in the child body. Now, what they will think, Dr. Andrew Manson thought, that what the couple will think, because they trusted him. The old lady was there, means the mother-in-law of Joe Morgan. He thought that what they will think, what she will think about me. Means he thought that what will be the expectation of all this person. They expected from 20 years, then they waited 9 months, and then they got a child, dead. They all were quite disappointed. Actually, the lady, Joe Morgan was outside the house, so he was not knowing the fact. But the old lady was there, okay? And Dr. Andrew Manson did his level best to save that child, and finally he did so. Here also, Dr. Sadao did the same thing. He found that injured American soldier, almost in dead condition. He was shot by a bullet. He was hit by the sea rocks. There was a very deadly wound towards his right side at the west portion. So he treated also with complete dedication to that man, and he saved that. So this is the similarity between these two stories. The best effort of doctors to save their patient, which we saw in Birth also, that chapter, and which we saw in this chapter also. Now the last question, students. Is there any film you have seen or novel you have read with a similar theme? Actually, there are few old films, the name I'm forgetting actually, which are, or whatever the film you know about. I leave this answer to you, students. You have to consider any film or any drama which I have read or anything else, in which you found that a doctor, first of all, you have to judge the film on the basis of a doctor tried his level best to save the patient, and secondly, if the patient was an enemy and still the doctor saved. If you have seen any film, okay, either the film is from Hollywood or Bollywood or from anything else, you can mention that, you can discuss about that film story little bit up. Okay, I didn't see so many films, that's why I am not knowing about that actually. So you will quote that story of the film, and this, I think the answer will be completed. So students, I think that you all will would have understand the answers of all the questions. So prepare your notes, please. It is a classwork that you have to prepare the notes, that you have to watch this video. It's a classwork that you have to watch the video, and thereafter it is your homework that you have to complete your notes of this chapter and send it tomorrow in classwork. Today's homework and tomorrow's classwork will be to send the notes of this chapter. Thank you.